Ghana is finally getting an expressway, and I'm super excited because anytime roads develop, rent increases, cost of land increases, new communities develop that never existed, lots of opportunities arise, but lots of risks are also presented. And in this video, we are going to look at the finance minister's announcement of an expressway, the first of its kind in Ghana, and what that means for us in the Africa Building Hub community and what people are saying about this. But before we go into this, I want to know where you are watching this video from, especially the people who live in the diaspora, because recently I had the opportunity of visiting a lot of countries and I used expressways. Like in Germany, I used an expressway, in Belgium and so many other countries, and I'm going to relate all that. And we're also going to talk about how roads have been significant in the past from Tema, Malam, different places. We are going to look at the way roads changed the areas, increased prices, and the risks that came with it. All these and more coming up next. Comment where you're watching from, especially the people in Europe, US and stuff like that who are used to expressways. Do you think it's a good thing? Do you think we should be careful because maybe accidents will happen or whatever? Comment and let us know. Let's get straight into the video. Now, on a Twitter post, the finance minister of Ghana, Kesiel Atoforsen, says Accra Kumasi Expressway project. This historic project marks Ghana's first true expressway, a modern high-speed corridor linking Accra and Kumasi, stretching almost 200 kilometers from the coast to the forest belt. The expressway will transform travel and trade, cut journey time significantly, and boost growth across the southern regions. The route runs southeast to northwest through the Greater Accra, Eastern and Ashanti regions, touching key towns like, and I want you to pay attention to this, Adeso, Asamankese, Akimodan, Ofuase, and Kwaso. In total, the highway covers 198.7 kilometers, including 23 kilometers of urban connecting sections in Accra and Kumasi, built to a 4-lane standard at 60 kilometers per hour, and a 175-kilometer main expressway of 6 lanes designed for speeds of up to 120 kilometers per hour. It will stand as a symbol of Ghana's commitment to modernization, connectivity, and inclusive growth. And it has a 4-minute video that I want us to watch, and then we come back, take the comments, and then take my thoughts, and then you would also leave your comments. So watch this video.
The Accra-Kumasi Expressway is the flagship of President Mahama's Big Push infrastructure program. It is Ghana's first fully modern 6-lane bi-directional Class A expressway, a highway worthy of a nation on the rise. Stretching 198.7 kilometers, this expressway will become the central spine of Ghana's economy, linking our capital city to Kumasi, the heartbeat of the Ashanti region. It will cut through the Greater Accra, the eastern regions, creating a powerful southern-northern economic corridor that connects people, markets, and opportunities. To achieve this, the expressway follows a brand new alignment. This alone reduces the current travel distance by more than 50 kilometers, bringing it down from 250 kilometers to just under 199 kilometers. The impact on time and efficiency will be remarkable. Travel time between Accra and Kumasi will be cut by half. Transport costs are expected to fall by nearly 40%. And during construction, the project will create over 30,000 direct and indirect jobs for engineers, artisans, suppliers, and young people eager to work and build. But this project is more than a road. It is a catalyst for transformation. It will spark the development of new industrial parks, logistics hubs, storage centers, and service economies along its length. It will power our 24-hour economy and strengthen Ghana's global competitiveness. The expressway will feature 8 major interchanges, each designed to ease congestion and enhance access. These interchanges will be located at Accra Hub, Adeso, Isamankese, Achem Oda, Ofuase, Lake Busuntri, and Kumasi. Together, they will form a network of seamless movement and connectivity. The project also includes 3 significant bridges crossing the Birim and Pra rivers, ensuring a safe and continuous high-speed drive across changing terrain. To support travelers and transport operators, 4 service areas will be built along the route. This will include emergency medical centers, fire stations, maintenance and rescue units, catering rest stops, fuel stations, electronic vehicle charging points, and safe, well-lit parking spaces. All these facilities will operate round the clock in keeping with our 24-hour economy. Finally, 2 modern toll plazas, one in Accra and one in Kumasi, will each have 20 lanes. They will rely on automated tolling technology to ensure smooth, efficient revenue collection with minimal delays. The Accra-Kumasi Expressway is not just concrete and asphalt. It is a bold statement of intent, a promise to build faster, connect deeper, and transform Ghana's future. The Accra-Kumasi Expressway is going to open up our dear country.
So why is this new expressway important? I'm sure that's the question on everybody's mind. The first point is that roads create economic corridors, right? So what does this big English mean? It means that roads create places where trade happens, tourism happens, agriculture happens, schools develop, hospitals develop, and communities and markets also develop. And so it creates economic corridors. That's what it means. It connects one township, one city, one country to another. And so that corridor along it then becomes a place where activities of trade, school, banking, market, agriculture, and all these things happen. And so, for example, let us look at some of the historical context of how roads have played significant roles in Ghana. Now, the first road that I want us to talk about is the Accra-Kasoa Road. Now, I know Kasoa is a place we have sort of bastardized and demonized so much in Ghana. And sometimes even on this channel, we've spoken so ill of Kasoa. But Kasoa has become what it is today because of the road that was dualized and expanded from Accra, Malam, Kasoa. Previously, land at Kasoa was so cheap. You could get land for 2,000 cedis, 5,000 cedis. I was shocked. The last time I was telling people that, oh, you can get land at Kasoa for 10,000 to 50,000 cedis. And I was told actually, those days are far gone. Today, you can get land at Kasoa for even 50,000 cedis. That's just crazy. I'm telling you that a few years ago, you could get land at Kasoa for 1,000 cedis, which is less than $100. But today, you are going to need about $10,000 for a single plot at Kasoa. Mind blowing. Now, before the road was constructed, that Malam Kasoa road was constructed, commuting from Kasoa to Accra was a whole journey. I remember back then, my dad would travel to his hometown, Fomina. And then sometimes when we are coming, we use the central region. So you come and pass through that Kasoa place. It was so terrible. It's a whole journey. But today I have colleagues in the corporate world who live at Kasoa and commute all the way to Accra. And they leave home by, let's say, 5 a.m. and they get to work by 7 a.m. which is almost the same as some of us who live around Pokweyase and going to Accra, spending the same time. If you leave at 6, you get to work at 8 or 9. You know, so that road has significantly changed travel time, transportation and commute time, and has enabled people to go and live in those places where the land was cheaper than mainland Accra, and being able to build amazing properties. We have people in our community who are building in areas like Nyenyano, or how do you pronounce it? That place. around Kaswa. There's the Gomwafete areas. We went to a place called Marlin Hotel. There's Blue Beach and all these big hotels and resorts that are springing up all over the place. And like some super gated communities and estates that people are putting up in the Kaswa enclave. It's amazing. In fact, the West Hills Mall is on your way to Kaswa. It's not in central Accra like the way you have the Accra Mall. And I think West Hills Mall is bigger than Accra Mall. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like if you are watching, let me know. Is West Hills Mall bigger than the Accra Mall? Comment and let me know. You know, and there are a lot of things. There are cement factories. There are big industries coming up on that Malam Weja Kaswa stretch because of the dualization of the road, the expansion and all that. You see, so that for me is a typical example I can give. So I wrote over here that Kaswa has now become one of the fastest growing urban areas in West Africa. And so a road can turn a rural town into a city faster than any political promise or campaign can. The politicians, they'll say, oh, when we come, we'll do this, we'll transform the city. But many a times they fail their promises. Somebody even said they will build a cathedral before they leave for God, but they couldn't do it. You understand? So politicians will promise, but when you give the roads, people will naturally find ways around it for economic purposes. Now the next example is the Pokuase interchange and the Awoshi to Pokuase road. Now before this interchange came, I remember when I was living at Ashoman Estates, and back then if you were going to town like Accra, you either had to use the Dome side or you can use the Pokuase side. You will go through Kwabenya, go to Pokuase, go and do some U-turn B. The traffic was crazy, you know, but when the interchange came, you don't need to go all the way down to Pokuase as if you are going to Amasaman to come and do a U-turn to go. You just use the interchange, bam, you are hitting the Ofanko stretch, you are going, you know, and within maybe 20 minutes, you can leave Ashoman Estates and be at Achimota. Previously, it would take you like 1 hour to leave Ashoman Estates to get to Achimota. So you have to leave home like 5. By 6 you're at Achimota, then it takes you another 1 hour to get to Accra or wherever you are going to, you know. But now, it has just reduced traveling time. Also, it has opened up the place. So, if you were coming from, let's say, the Kaswa place that we spoke about, you had to go all the way to, you could use like the La Paz stretch, come down to Achimota, come down to the Pokuase road, and then if you were going to Ashoman, you go, you know. But now the interchange connects you straight from Kwabenya Pokuase road to Awoshi, and it's a fast route. Within 20 minutes you can be there. So again, it creates lots of opportunities where people don't need to always be looking for rent in the center of town, because now they can live at the outskirts and be able to move to work without being late, which is super important. Or even if like you need access to hospitals and so many things, just that interchange is able to connect so many things and opens up the city, and it reduces congestion and traffic and the pressure in the super developed areas. And then the places that were considered bushes like Kwabenya and Pokuase, those days land at Kwabenya, Pokuase, Amasaman, 5,000 cedis, 10,000 cedis. Today, land at Kwabenya, 600,000 cedis. That's like what, $50,000. Meanwhile, previously you could use $1,000 to buy land. And this, I'm not talking about a 50-year period though. I lived in Ashoman like 20 years ago, you know, and within the last, when was the Pokuase interchange done? Let me Google it. But if you know, comment and let me know. Let me just confirm when the Pokuase interchange was constructed. So I just Googled it, and the Pokuase interchange was constructed in 2021. 4 years ago. We are now moving into our 5th year. Crazy. And from that time, land has moved from 10,000 to 600,000 cedis. Just think about it. You know, so if in 5 years the value of land can shoot up by like 60%. Did I say 60%? 60 times, right? I don't know what percentage that is, maybe 6,000 or whatever. You people should calculate and tell me. It just tells you the way roads can open up places and make the value of lands and properties go high. Now that area is super developed. There's ACP estates, there's the whole Kwabenya Hills, there's Comet, there's Ashoman Estates, there's Ablekuma, there's Amamole, there's Awoshi, there's Anya, there's Odumasi. All these places have become like super modern communities because of the interchange. So what's the lesson here? One interchange can open up like 10 different townships or cities to the extent that they are huge. The value of land increases in those areas. The next one, which we all know about, is the Tema motorway from 1965 to present. Before the motorway was constructed, though I was not born, I did a lot of research and I realized that it was just like a fishing town. Tema was like a fishing town. But after the motorway was constructed, now it has become a very structured place where people brag that I'm from community this, community that. If you are watching and you are from Tema, any community, comment and let us know. You know, and let us also know what growing up in that area is like, and if you live in that area, what it's like for you today. But today, I don't think a year goes by where I don't use the motorway. Previously, I used to be so scared of driving on the motorway. I said, me, I will never, always go and pass Spintex. But now, due to the work I do, I'm almost always on the motorway every week. And it's become so important that you cannot ignore it. And currently, the kind of expansion that they are doing on the motorway is going to be another crazy one. You know, so Tema connects the Volta region, connects many important towns. The motorway, not Tema, the motorway connects like so many regions and stuff like that. And it has become super important. I think it's one of the best roads ever constructed in this country. It was made not of like coal tar and all those things, but it was made of like concrete and stuff like that. It has really stood the test of time, because if you compare with other roads, 1965 today people do road and 6 months it has scattered, you know. So Tema motorway, we all know about it. Excellent. Now the motorway didn't just make Tema a developed and structured area. Other places around that enclave like Spintex, Sakumono, Lashibi, Ashaiman, you people know those places, name them, have become like mega affluent places where the super rich people in Ghana live. Spintex and Spintex Road is now one of the prime places in Ghana, with land selling for $1 million and all those kind of funny quotes, you know, crazy amounts. Sakumono has become some kind of Dada B area. Ashaiman, though, it has some vibe in the eyes of people that rowdy people and rascals are there. It's also very expensive and super developed. You know, the Lashibi areas, people are even building on wetlands, buying it for expensive prices, and all these things. Those places have exploded because of the motorway. You know, and today it has become like, if you live in those areas, you are rich. If you have land, your parents like willed you any property or land over there in those areas, you are a millionaire instantly. You know, so that's the kind of effect roads can have. I'll give you another example. This example, I won't talk about East Legon, Adrigano, right? And then I also want to talk about Spintex Road together, because now there's some flyover or overhead or whatever that connects East Legon to Spintex. And these two side-by-side communities, which were divided by the motorway, now has been connected by this flyover. Charlie, it has become rich neighborhood on the left, rich neighborhood on the right, and these two communities, East Legon and Spintex, account for, like, let's say maybe 80% of where the richest people in Ghana live. No kidding. The Spintex Road is where all the home decor, home finishing, home whatever companies on that stretch of road, on the left, on the right, Okadeko, Kitia, Furniture City, like they are there plenty. Then there's Melcom Mall, there's China Mall. There are like 2 China malls on that road. Which other malls? There's Palace Mall. Like that maybe 2-kilometer stretch of road has some of the nicest things you'd ever see in Ghana. Then when you cross to the other side, East Legon, you all know, you know, East Legon Executive Fitness Club, why, Despite Automobile Museum, Paul's Fitness Gym, so many ANC Mall, like everything is there. High-rise apartments, gallery, name them, those, that area has become where 80% of the richest people in Accra live. You know, so It is just because of the roads. From 1995 to 2005, the East Legon-Adrigano side was further developed. It exploded. It became what it is today. By 1995, it wasn't that way. So all these things tell us a story that as this new road is being constructed, the first point I made was why the expressway is super important, because it creates corridors of economic activity and opportunity. The next one is that when these corridors of economic activity and opportunity is created, population flows along with the road, and I've explained all these things. And as people are moving to settle in those areas, investors would also follow those people because they see opportunities. If people are moving to live there, let's say the construction workers, they'll need a place to sleep, they'll need food to eat, they'll need hospital services, they'll need so many things, police stations and things will come up. Then business markets and things will also develop in those areas. So let's take a look at the towns that were mentioned again. Adesso is one of the places I've mentioned a lot on this channel. Today, land is selling, at least having contacted some of the real estate companies, between 10,000 cedis to 50,000 cedis. If the government is able to fulfill their promise, which Charlie, they are politicians, many a times they will say that thing, they will never do it. But assuming they are able to complete it before 2028, land in that area is going to cost you maybe 200,000 to 300,000 cedis today. Like land in Adesso, today selling for 30,000 to 50,000, 10,000. Today selling for 30,000 to 50,000. Could sell for 200,000 to 300,000 cedis, based on all the other context, historical context and evidence I've given you. So what should you do? I would advise that once the project commences, find land to buy when it's about 40% completed. 40% completed, that's the sweet spot. You don't want to wait till it's 100%, you will not be able to afford it. And you also don't want to rush in because politicians. So 40% completed is the sweet spot. Get large parcels of land. Today, if one plot is even 30,000, buy 10, 300,000 cedis. That's just less than $30,000. Buy 10 plots of land because it's going to be super important. Now, when you are going to buy the land, let me show you a trick. Don't buy land by the roadside. I will say it again. Don't buy land by the roadside. Many people want, I want land by the roadside. Look, try and get land that is 5 minutes to maybe 20 minutes from the main road. Because if we've also seen the historical context, development of roads in the Dodowa side, in the Pokuase side, in even the Pram side, creates a lot of traffic, 2, dust, pollution, noise, and 3, your land could be in the pathway for the road, even if it's not like in the middle of the road or whatever. If you watch what happened on the Insawan Pokuase road, houses were broken which are still far away from the road today, and I wonder why that was done. So you want to be like 5 to 20 minutes away from the main road. That's the sweet spot. It's not too far inside, it's not too far from the roadside, but then you are not so heavily affected by the dust, the noise, the pollution, and any possible breakage. You understand? Super important. And again, when they are bringing these earth moving machinery, you don't want to build and then have your foundation or your walls vibrated and shaking and breaking and stuff like that. So you want to be like 5 to 20 minutes away. Then the next thing, if you want to go into investing in these areas along the expressway, is that focus on rental units first. And when you are building, build small units. Don't go and build 5-bedroom house. We conducted a survey in our community about what kind of houses people want to build, buy, and rent. And it was shocking because the results showed that most people are looking for 2-bedroom houses. That was the majority, followed by 3-bedroom houses. And so when you're going for these rental units, do 2, do 1, or do 3. Don't do 4 or 5. It becomes difficult to rent and difficult to sell. I'm the only person who will tell you this for free. But if you want paid consultation, send us an email and we'll be delighted to help you with your plans in investing in Ghana, building your first home and all that. Of course, there are also risks that come with investing in some of these places that politicians promise. The first one is that speculation is going to cause the value of the land to increase. Like people watching this video right now, there's going to be sort of like a rush to purchase, and when the demand increases with a limited supply, it's definitely going to have increase in price. And so one, you want to go in early, but you want to also ensure that you are not taking advantage of, because a lot of people have interest in the areas, right? Make sure to always do your due diligence, apply the common sense principles we teach here at ABH, and again, go in around 40%. The next risk, like I spoke about a lot, is pollution, is the vibrations and all those things that you need to be careful of. The third one is that if, for example, a land is a flood-prone or waterlogged area, you are probably going to pay more than you should, because the interest is there, more people are going for it, so the value of the land is going to increase. But if you take your time to do your research properly in any particular area, then you know that if this place is a flood-prone area, maybe I should not buy, or you should be able to negotiate downwards. Again, scammers and bad actors are going to want to take advantage of people, especially you in the diaspora, since they know that you don't know much of the local terrain. So again, book a consultation so that we can guide you along the journey for some of these things. And then I also hinted about the fact that your building project could get demolished if it gets too close to the roadside. Currently, you don't know where the road is going to be, so there's a chance that you are going to buy land, and that land might be on the road to the place that the expressway is going to be. So those are some of the risks that you face when you invest early. But if you wait till the road is also constructed, you are going to pay a premium for it. So what are the strategies you should adopt for investing? Always ensure to do your due diligence. Buyer beware, that's what the law says. And so you need to verify the land, go to Lands Commission, get your surveyor to go and plot the coordinates of the lands you want to buy, etc. Buy small units. Invest what you can afford to lose and not suffer a mental breakdown or die or whatever as a result. And always come to us if you are unsure, if you are not clear. We have lawyers as part of our team. If you want consultation and all that, we can guide you. The only thing we don't do is to collect your money to buy land for you or be involved directly in the land purchasing process. So let us read some of the comments on Twitter or X when the minister came to post this announcement. Someone says, what about the railway system? Right? A lot of people are disappointed that instead of putting up an expressway, why didn't they do a railway? Right, and somebody came to respond to them that they will get there. Someone also says, let's not forget that creating more high-speed roads doesn't mean the skills of the people will meet it. We must also ensure we up-level the standards of drivers on our roads, or this will just lead to more devastating outcomes. Please keep this in mind. Someone says, why construct another road when we can channel that money into constructing a railway line? A single train replaces hundreds of vehicles. That's fewer accidents, less congestion, less fuel waste, and less damage to roads. What do you think? Is he right? Is he wrong? And somebody responded to that and said, because you have given him only 4 years to build, and he will do what he can finish within his time to achieve his legacy. If you want more, then give him more and he will build the Ghana we all want. Then someone says, there's a reason why roads are built. Roads connect more than rail. They all have their purpose. I would rather advocate for the development of a robust transport system that serves all these needs. Then someone says, after living in the US for almost 12 years and driving across multiple states from coast to coast, I've always asked myself why our leaders never dream big to build intercity highways and expressways. I have always sought leaders with big dreams and visions. I'm proud to be a supporter and champion of this leadership. Okay. Someone says, Minister, thank you. I want to add something if you may consider. Turn the median between the 6 lanes into a passenger rails. Chicago has similar setup that I believe will serve the people well. So 3 lanes northbound, 2-way express train, then 3 lanes southbound. Somebody said that's a very brilliant suggestion. Even if government can't pursue it now, the highway drawings can take into consideration the railway lines for future consideration. But somebody else came to say, when people are sharing ideas, I wonder if they know the realities. You have no steel factory to supply all steel you need, and you already have big plans. And he's quoting a screenshot that says, how much for 1 kilometer of asphalt road? The cost for constructing 1 kilometer of asphalt road typically ranges from $1 million to over $5 million. So the discussion has now become more about railways versus expressways. Someone says we need buoyant railways, not extra roads. The roads we have need to be repaired, that's all. Someone says, Honorable, can you add a railway line to this as well? I think we should look into doing railways. Could be on the side of the road. Again, an engineer says, this is an innovative project and a thoughtful one, no doubt. But one question I want to ask is, does Ghana need to invest in a 6-lane expressway from Accra to Kumasi, or a working and effective train system to serve the same purpose, and even more? This is one of the most important development questions we need to ask ourselves, and the answer depends on what problem Ghana wants to solve, whether short-term or long-term. Traffic, economic growth, logistics, transport costs, national productivity, or long-term sustainability. I'm very sure our able minister and his listening government have done their feasibility studies and are implementing what is best for the country now. We hope to see more innovative ideas in the space. Someone says, I pray this will happen in record time because most ambitious projects like these have been announced in the past by previous governments but were never carried to completion. Those are the comments from Twitter. I want you to leave your own comments down below, especially those of you who have experienced expressways in different places, and what were the speed limits in those places. I hear UK you can't drive more than 70 kilometers per hour. Is it true? In Germany there's no limit, and then in Belgium I think it's 120 kilometers per hour. Yeah, at least that's my experience traveling across these countries. Share your thoughts below. Let me know, is it a good idea that the minister and the government is pushing? Should we do more railways? Should we do what else? What else can we do as a country? Comments below, let me know. Thanks, Bibri.